Okay? All right, okay, so now there's a second component of the advocacy project. It's called the Wiki Contributions. Now, be very, very careful on this part. You're working as a group to compile information for the policy brief, okay? However, there is an individual component to this project. I'll give you my rationale on why I included this component. Because in the past, with students working as a group, there's always been, I'm not going to say overachievers, but there's always been students who stay on task and they get the work done. There's always been students who stay on task but take over the work. But there's also been students who do not contribute or participate at all and still receive, quote, the group grade, meaning that one person, a couple of persons, or everyone else has had to pull the weight of a student who has not contributed or participated in the group process or the group assignment. That's why I have added individual wiki page contributions. Now, I know that the wiki pages are not up yet, but that's okay because you don't have to do an individual post to the wiki pages until week 7, which is next week. Okay, so you have till Monday at 8 a.m. Monday at 8 a.m. Yeah, at the end of the week, just like the new discussion board final posting. Okay, that's going to be the deadline date. So with that said, let me see if I can say this easily without you guys getting confused. You work in a group project, but you have individual contribution. Individual contribution is totally different from participation in sending an email, talking on the phone, meeting at Starbucks or in the library on campus, doing a video conference. It's totally different from that. Okay, so participation that's what you do working in a group, and that's fine. But that's not what this particular part of the policy brief is going to be graded on. It's not going to be graded on your participation. It's going to be graded on your contribution, individual contribution. Okay, let me see if I can take a deep breath and explain this to you. Every week, beginning at week 7, every single group member must contribute to the wiki page. And I say contribute to the wiki page, meaning answering a section of the policy brief components. Does that make sense? Every week, every single team member should answer a component of one of the policy brief items. No, not one person takes one section and then the other person takes another section, or the third person is assigned another section. It's not like that. We're just talking about contributing, right, as a whole. We're not talking about compiling and putting together the final draft or the first draft. We haven't got to that part yet. What we're talking about only is your contributions. That's it. Not your comments. Even though you should comment to each other's postings on what they have submitted. Okay, because you are working as a group, but that's not where you get your grade because you have commented. You get your grade, and I think the wiki page contribution is worth 70 points. Okay, so yeah, Make sure that you contribute. Now, when I say contribute, what does that mean? That means pulling information from your sources. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you this. The best place to find information, if you can now, the first place to start for gathering information is from the websites that are already in the course shell. If you look on your course menu, you will find an item that has all these wonderful websites available to you. I would start there. Just start digging. Okay? Once again, every team member is gathering information for each of the seven components of the policy brief. Don't add what someone else has already added. Don't copy and paste what someone has already copied and pasted and think you're going to get credit. Be mindful. There was a reason why I use, or I would prefer that you use the Wiki tool, because on the back end I can see everything that's being done. I can see when you copy and paste. I can see when you delete. I can see when you have only added 2 words. I can see when you leave a comment, and you leave a comment when you don't get credit for comments. You get credit for adding to a wiki page. You don't get credit for leaving a comment. You don't get credit if you post your contribution in comments. A comment is a comment. You're commenting on what someone else has posted. A comment is suggestions or feedback on what someone else has posted. That's not contribution. That's just feedbacks and comments and remarks. We want your contribution that pertains to each one of those sections. So each week you should choose a section and post substantive contribution. If you choose to post a website link, and you can, if you copy and paste information from a journal, you can. However, it's up to you to justify and tell your team members in your contribution why what you have posted is significant and how it relates to the overall composition of the policy brief. Please, please, please do not use the same information. Don't use the same information. Everybody brings something new to the table. As far as the contribution component is concerned, bring something new to the table. I just hate to get into word count. It seems like that is such a big deal, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Jeez, it's like word count should be at least a paragraph. At least a paragraph. At least a paragraph. If you copy and paste, also remember this. When it's time for that final draft or that first draft to start coming together, it's going to be your responsibility to summarize and paraphrase that you have copied and pasted. Okay. Also remember, I can always go back and see who has done what in the wiki pages. That's why I love the wiki page, because it really, really shows an honest view on who's doing what and who's not contributing. Okay. So with that said, start next week. We're going to get to work. If you run across some information that is not in order, like instead of finding demographic information, but you find social and economic factors on your particular global health issue pertaining to that particular country or that population that you've been assigned, that's okay. It's okay. Now, I don't see how you're going to be able to provide a rationale when, none of the data has been collected. But that's okay. Just be mindful of that. Don't be so strict on each other that you think it has to be, let's focus on this, let's focus on, don't do that. This right here, Wiki page contribution, is an individual grade. So your final grade for the entire advocacy project is going to be different from your team members' grade based on their contribution and based on your contribution. So the final draft, you will receive a grade, but that individual Wiki contribution grade is going to affect the grade of your advocacy project.